Hi everybody, this is part 3 of Puppies 1, 2, 3. This is an 8-part series giving you tips and tricks about getting prepared for bringing your new puppy home. So today we have our little 2-week-old mini Australian Labradoodle puppies, and this episode is about socialization. We're going to talk about what is socialization. What do we mean when everybody tells you you need to socialize your puppy? When should you be socializing your puppy? How you should be socializing your puppy, and what to avoid when socializing your puppy. So these puppies are, as I said, just 2 weeks old, but it's time for you as a prospective parent owner of one of these puppies to start getting ready and finding out where and when and how you can socialize your puppy. So let's start about talking about what do we really mean by socialization. So socialization is where we take a puppy and we teach them not to be afraid of things. So any new situation, we want to have them socialized to. You'll also hear me and many other people refer to it as desensitization. If you follow along with our litter updates, you'll see many examples of how we desensitize our puppies once their eyes and ears are open. Now, socialization has to occur between a particular time period. It occurs from week 3 through to week 12. And if you really push the envelope, you could say it occurs through to week 16. But really, weeks 3 to week 12 are the most important periods for doing proper and full socialization of your puppy. We often hear people with their dogs that are, say, 6, 7, 8 months old, and there'll be an issue with their dog. They might be afraid of, say, men in uniform or men with hats or men with beards. And they'll say, oh, I have to socialize my dog and I have to desensitize my dog to that. Once your puppy has passed that 16-week period, you really can't do it anymore effectively. That whole learning process of how a puppy's mind works is altered after 16 weeks. So when puppies are between 3 weeks and 12 weeks and up to 16 weeks, they're like a sponge. They're learning everything, and everything that they learned is going to stay with them for life. It's very difficult to change what they learn in that time period, and it's really difficult to teach them things after that time period in terms of socialization. So as I said, socialization, and what we really mean by that is desensitizing a puppy so that something is not afraid, that doesn't make them afraid. They're not going to back up and go, oh, are you going to eat me? Or are you going to hurt me? Or I'm not so sure. They're going to just go, oh, right, okay. I know that that's something I don't need to worry about. So you want to be sure that all of the experiences your puppy has at this critical juncture are positive experiences. And during this sensitive period, we want to expose the puppies to as many things as we can and in a positive manner. So anything your puppy has not encountered during this time period is something that they're going to have a little bit of a hesitation to. Now, puppies come with personalities that are genetic, they're programmed. So out of this litter of only 3 puppies, one of these puppies is going to be the most gregarious, and one of these puppies is going to be the most quiet and a little bit less outgoing and willing to experience new things. So that's who the puppy is. What our job is as breeders of Australian Labradoodle puppies is during the period of time the puppies are with us, which is from 3 weeks to about 9.5 weeks, we spend a great deal of time and effort desensitizing them to as many things as possible. Then your job as the new puppy parent is from that time through to the time they're 16 weeks is continuing with that. Now we get a lot of questions and a lot of people asking us, what are we going to do though? Our puppy does not have their full immunity because they haven't had all 3 sets of shots. Now, the way we have things structured is that puppies receive their shots starting around 6, 7 weeks of age, and they finish at about 16 weeks of age, exactly that critical time period. So how are you going to socialize your puppy when they don't have their full immunity? So that's the next part. Where and how to socialize your puppy after you take your puppy home from us. So Labradoodles are really naturally social dogs to begin with. They're not difficult to socialize. That's one thing they really enjoy is other people more than anything, and also other dogs. So you want to be able to present them to different situations, sights, sounds, people, dogs, in a safe environment because they don't have that full immunity. Now we live on Vancouver Island, and most of our Labradoodle puppies go to families who live on Vancouver Island, on the lower mainland of British Columbia, or throughout Alberta. And we're so lucky in these areas in that we don't really have a high level of risk of disease for our puppies. Parvo is around, yes, but very seldom is it to the extent where we have to worry about our puppy's health. Distemper is virtually eradicated. And yes, there can be some kennel cough, there may be a little bit of influenza that's going around, but by the time you take your puppy home, their immune system is starting to be quite strong. They've already had their first set of vaccines, so you don't have to be too panicked about exposing them to diseases. You just have to be smart. So what do you want to avoid? The first place you want to avoid, strangely enough, is the vet clinic. The vet clinic is where the sick dogs are, and cats, of course. So when you go to the vet with your puppy for your wellness exam, which is going to be 3 days after you take your puppy home from us, or for their next set of shots, which will be at 12 weeks of age, you want to take your puppy in their crate, or carry your puppy. Bring your own blanket from home to put on the examination table. And what I like to do before I take a young puppy in for their shots or any other trip to the vet is I phone ahead just before I'm there and make sure that no contagious dogs have been in the clinic that day. Because the staff is busy. They're not always going to necessarily remember, oh, this dog came in with kennel cough and now Claire's coming in and she's got a little 6-week-old puppy. So I always call and just double check and make sure nobody's been in with anything that's horrifically contagious. And then I bring my own blanket. You can even bring the bed if you like. Put that on the table and have your vet look at your puppy while they're on something from home. When the examination is finished, put them back in their crate or in your arms and out you go. No paws on the floor at the vet clinic, no paws on the ground on the entrance to the vet clinic. The other place you want to avoid is dog parks. Dog parks are full of all sorts of strange dogs. Who knows if they've been vaccinated or not? Who knows if they're healthy or not? I personally don't believe that dogs should go to dog parks at any time. They're not safe places for dogs, but particularly when you have a puppy, you don't want to be going to the dog park. You also don't want to be going to somewhere like PetSmart or any Bosley's or other pet stores where dogs are welcome. Again, lots and lots of strange dogs. Who knows if they're vaccinated or not? Now it's a great idea to take your puppy to PetSmart, Bosley's, wherever they're allowed. Canadian Tire, Home Hardware also allows dogs. Take your puppy, put them either in a backpack or a front pack you can carry your puppy in, or have them in one of your blankets or their bed in the cart. That way they can look around, they can be involved in the store experience, but no paws are on the ground and no paws on the buggy. You keep them so that they're as safe as they possibly can be. You also don't want to go to parks, by this I mean like regular people parks, and be on trails that are used all the time. Again, lots of dogs, no idea what's going on there. If you're traveling with your puppy home from Van Isle Labradoodles, as many of you do, you don't want to be taking your puppy to go to the bathroom in a rest area. So if you're taking the ferry from Nanaimo or Victoria back to Vancouver, you do not want to take your Labradoodle puppy over to the pet zone to go to the bathroom. You want to come with a pee pad, let your puppy use the pee pad, even if it's in your vehicle, because you don't want to be taking your young puppy out to an area where there's all sorts of strange dogs, because parvo and distemper are shed through dogs' feces. If your dog is not exposed to where the feces is, your dog's not going to get the parvo. If there's a dog with parvo here and this is your puppy, unless your puppy comes into contact with the infected dog's feces, they're not going to get sick. So you don't have to worry about that so much. Kennel cough is a different story. But for the main critical things, you don't have to worry unless they're in contact with the feces. Same as if you're driving home. If you're driving your puppy back to Kelowna, Williams Lake, wherever you're from, or even if you're just going to Campbell River, Courtenay, or Victoria from our home in Cowichan Valley, you don't want to stop at the side of the road and use a rest stop for your puppy. You can go somewhere where there's grass, say next to McDonald's or next to Starbucks, somewhere like that. Yes, there will have been dogs there, I'm sure, but there will have been fewer dogs, so that's a safer spot. So you just need to use your head, just think. Now, where are you going to go with your puppy to socialize your puppy after that long list of where not to go? So take your puppy in your neighborhood. Your neighborhood's going to be safe. It's highly unlikely you have someone in your neighborhood with unvaccinated sick dogs. So your neighborhood's fantastic. That's usually a safe and secure area. Your friends who have puppies that you know who have been vaccinated and are healthy, go to visit your friends' homes. Take your puppy with you to visit their homes. Now, of course, you want to make sure that your friends' dogs are puppy friendly and that they're not going to intimidate your dog at all. So just make sure you've got that base covered beforehand. The other really good place to go is to playgrounds, schools, and sports fields. These are excellent places to socialize your puppy. When we say we want you to socialize your puppy, it is not necessary for your puppy to come into direct contact with other dogs or people. They just have to be near them and experiencing things. So let's say you're going to go to a soccer game. Lots of soccer games going on in British Columbia all of the time, pretty much year round. So you take your puppy, but you don't want to start off by going right in the thick of things, because that can be just totally overwhelming when you're a 10-week-old puppy. Too many sights and sounds and unfamiliar things. So be on the periphery of that sports field so that you're a distance from things and that you are watching things and your puppy is able to observe things, but they're not actually in the midst of the action. So you're getting exposure from a distance. That's what you want to be doing with your puppy, being away and from a distance with them, so that you're not exposing them to something where they're absolutely overwhelmed and the experience isn't a good one. You want to be really observant of your puppy when you're doing things. Watch your puppy. Are their ears up or are they ooh and shivering? If they're backing off and their ears are down, their tail's down, and they're shaking at all, remove them from that situation without making a big fuss about it. Take them back to the point where they are comfortable. And when you're watching the soccer game, have lots of treats. Make sure your puppy associates all these experiences with treats. So whether you're at the school when it's recess or school gets out, at a soccer game, walking in your neighborhood where there's traffic, lots of treats and lots of, ooh, good puppy, that's so great. Oh, look at the kids playing. Aren't they having fun? Oh, what a good dog you are. Things like that. Car rides are also excellent experiences, and it's really good if you go and you're running a couple of errands. You have to go to the pharmacy, the bank, go in the car, then your puppy gets used to being left for a very short period of time while you go do your errand, and then you come back again. Just be sure you don't make a great big production. Oh, mommy's going in the bank. Mommy's just going to be a few minutes. You'll be okay. Don't do that. Just get out of the car and go. And when you come back, don't, oh, mommy's back. Oh, baby, how were you? Just get in the car and carry on. That way your dog learns that it's not an event if you're coming and going, and that it's just part of life. Now, one thing I do recommend when you're walking in the neighborhood, or if you're walking around the soccer field or wherever you're walking with your dog on the leash, is avoid on-leash meetings with other dogs. You don't know what that other dog is like. Dogs meeting on leash is never a good situation, and if there's going to be a problem, that's usually when it is. So if you see someone coming with their dog on the leash, turn around, go the other way, cross the street, or pick your puppy up and just walk by the dog. You can always explain to the person, I just have a young puppy, they're just not quite ready for an on-leash meeting, and say thank you and carry on. Now when you meet people with your puppy, whether they're on leash or not, everyone's going to want to meet your puppy. Everyone's going to go, oh, look at the puppy, so cute. Oh, I want to pet your puppy. Hopefully people are educated enough to remember to ask you, may I pet your puppy? And what you want to do then is give these people some of the treats. Tell them that you would like them just to wait for a moment while you get your puppy settled. Offer them a treat and teach them the right way to approach your puppy. That's not with the back of your hand or the front of your hand to the dog's face. So even though this is a little puppy, I'm going to use red collar as a demo here. People inevitably think they should come up to a dog, offer them their hand. That's actually quite frightening for a dog to have this hand that they don't know coming up in front of them. Or they'll come like this to pet the dog. Again, this is very frightening for a dog to have this great big hand coming over top of their head. They're going to be like, whoa, who are you and what are you doing? So the way you want to have people approach your puppy is you ask them to crouch down so they're at the same level as your dog, and they're going to want to go on the side of your dog. This is where the hand should go. Not in front of the nose, not on top of the head, but off to the side of the head. And let the puppy move into the hand just as Red Collar just did there. Let the puppy do that. If they've got their treat in their hand, the puppy should naturally go toward the treat in any event. If your puppy's saying, no, I don't want to do that, then just pick your puppy up and say, oh, sorry, she's just not quite ready for that kind of encounter yet. But thanks so much for your kind words about my puppy, and move along. Don't force your puppy to do that until your puppy's ready. So the things that you really want to do here are to have good experiences, lots of different experiences. So you also want to go maybe to the hospital and let them listen to sirens. Go to a bus stop, so there's lots of bus sounds all of the time. They get used to a lot of traffic sounds. And what you want is not for them to be interacting with the people or other dogs that they see maybe in a yard where you're walking by, but to ignore all these things. That's what we really mean by socialization, and why I tend to refer to it as desensitization, as that seems to make a little bit more sense in terms of what we're speaking of. You want your puppy just to accept that kids, dogs, sirens, cats, whatever it is, jackhammers, all of these things are just a normal part of life, nothing to be concerned about. You want them to be just focused on you and going forward and carrying on and ignoring everything so that nothing concerns them. And that's how you'll end up with a really nicely well-adjusted adult puppy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have on this topic. Just ask them in the comments below. I'm always happy to give you more information or clarify anything that perhaps wasn't too clear in the video here. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get all sorts of educational videos as well as lots of updates of really adorable Australian Labradoodle puppies. Thanks so much for watching.